snapper, porgies are an excellent food fish and are in the same family as the pinfish and sheepshead. Spotfin hogfish are often seen on our wrecks and reefs. They appear blue and cream colored, but if they swim into the lights from a camera, you immediately see their true color is a bright red and yellow. The Gulf Stream brings young coral reef fish to North Carolina from the coral reefs in the Caribbean Sea. These shown here include the yellowtail reef fish, purple reef fish, the cocoa damselfish, and the blue angelfish. North Carolina has several species of moray eels. Novice divers may think the moray is threatening them when the eel constantly opens and closes its mouth. Actually, the eel has to do this in order to pump water over the gills for respiration. The Caribbean spiny lobster is common on reefs and wrecks offshore. Divers can collect 2 lobsters per day by snaring them, but it is illegal to spear them. This frogfish is an anglerfish. It entices its prey near its mouth with its active lure. The frogfish lives in algae and other growth attached to the reefs and wrecks of our offshore areas. These feather duster worms were filmed about 8 miles off Wrightsville Beach. When disturbed, they quickly retract into their tubes. Many of these species are found on or near natural reefs. But due to some progressive planning over the past several years, our coast also offers fish artificial reefs in which to make their home. Since the advent of artificial reefs some 30 years ago, North Carolina has been the benefactor of rich ecological environments for marine life.
The artificial reefs are becoming more and more important, especially with the interest to preserve natural habitat. With concrete being one of the primary materials that are being used, a lot of the benefits of artificial reefs are not going to be realized within a single person's lifetime. It's going to be many generations from now, perhaps 100 to 200, 300 years, when the reefs fully mature. What we'll see is coral reefs, soft corals, the octocorals, which are the hard coral species in this area, anemones, and the full balance that occurs over time that we might see on natural reef. The thing is that we put these artificial reefs here, so we are not actually removing or taking or destroying any natural reefs when we go through the course of fishing, anchoring, fish removals, and things of that nature. Artificial reefs are beneficial to many people, not only to recreational fishermen, which is probably the primary user group, but also sport divers. Sport divers love the fish for consumption, and also sport divers are becoming more and more interested in photography underwater. Now, wrecks provide the best opportunity and the most photogenic opportunities for sport divers. But in addition to that, some of the other material that we put down provide equal opportunity to just photograph fish and soft corals and hard corals in their natural environment.
While the artificial reef program had its genesis with the opportunity of recreational fishing, it is also becoming important in this day and age to provide a habitat for aquatic life that will inevitably be overfished.
Whether someone's diving or fishing on these reefs, they can expect to experience demersal fish, which are bottom fish like gag grouper, scamp grouper, vermilion snapper, as well as the lesser undesirables, but however important fish for the ecology of tomtates and spot-tailed pinfish. And the environment that you find them in will depend on depth and seasonality.
When it gets cold weather in the fall and on up to Christmas, they'll catch speckled trout, which are real pretty fish that you don't catch too many of them in the summertime. I don't know where they go in the summer, but they usually are not out here where they catch the drum and the flounder.
One of the most popular things in North Carolina is the ability to dive with large, unbaited animals, and this is, of course, the sand tigers. It's becoming an extraordinary resource for the state of North Carolina, making it one of the top 10 dive locations in the world. Reefs provide safe opportunities and hopefully an enjoyable fishing opportunity for the local angler and the out-of-town angler. Now, some arguments will will state that artificial reefs are only fish attractors, and that the large fish are attracted to these sites and thus removed by fishermen. Quite the contrary, though, is being seen. There are many artificial reefs where young fry, young of the year, and juvenile fish are seen and observed, and they are thriving. In North Carolina scuba diving is scuba diving in extremes. In some cases, we've got water that you might not even be able to see the hand in front of your face, and you can go back to the exact same site and have unlimited visibility within a couple of days. You know, you just make a choice. Don't go down that anchor line if you don't feel comfortable. But keep going back and don't lose faith in your diving career or interest for recreation, because there are some truly spectacular 20-minute segments of life that occur underwater on that bottom time. And to be able to see fish from the belly, basically animals of the sea caught in the act of living, is a phenomenal experience. You develop a new appreciation for animals. You start to recognize individual fish species personalities as a whole, and it's life-changing. And you got to put faith in yourself and faith in equipment and things of that nature. Overcome some fears, and it's all a part of the process of getting comfortable with whatever it is you're doing in life, is to go ahead and attack it and be brave about it. And certainly scuba diving provides an excellent opportunity for individual growth and developing and acquiring treasures, visual treasures and photographic treasures and memories for the rest of your life.
Along with artificial reefs, estuaries are vital to our coastal environment. Estuaries are of historical significance in that they act as a nursery for the sea. Most fish spend at least some portion of their life cycle in estuaries due to their ideal location for reproduction.
Hi, I'm Chuck Wilson. I'm a biologist with the Corps of Engineers Wilmington District. We're at Island 13, this very natural estuarine ecosystem was constructed by the Corps of Engineers in partnership with the state of North Carolina. An estuary is where the salt water from the ocean meets the fresh waters of the sound. It's a very highly productive habitat. It's hard to believe when you're here in a boat in 2 feet of water that this site used to be a large mound of sand that was 10 feet high. As you can see on this marsh, it's a highly diverse marsh. You can see the different native plant materials. There's Spartina alterniflora, Spartina sinusoides, Spartina patens, the oak trees that provide that background on the upland area help to make this a functioning coastal ecosystem that includes, at low tide you would see a central creek here, a mud flat adjacent to the creek, the low marsh, a high marsh buffer, and then again those nice live oak trees that provide all the components of a coastal ecosystem. Right now we believe that this site is indeed functioning as it's designed and will be self-sustaining. Yeah, I think that ecosystem restoration is going to be critical to the long-term protection of and restoration of the North Carolina's valuable estuarine resources. And this is the largest constructed primary nursery that I've been involved in. Again, I love being here. I'm glad to be out here today, and I hate that we're finishing up our required monitoring of this site, so I have to be looking for excuses to come visit.